Welcome back to another episode of Bright Lights. I'm reslifeniki. Today we're here at Alison Hall, home of Disability Support Services.
What we do is we are responsible for making sure that anybody who says they have a disability actually does, and that's the easy part. They bring in documentation of some sort and we verify that it's legitimate, and then at that point the more important part happens, and that is that we create an accommodation plan for the individual and then help the university facilitate that plan.
So when would the best time for a student be to actually come and utilize your services here?
I'm glad you asked that question, because the tricky thing about the law is accommodations are not retroactive.
Okay.
So for a student, you really want to get in here as soon as you can when the semester starts. We do meet with a lot of our first year students over the summer prior to when they come in. They come down a lot of times with new student orientation, and they'll stay a day or later or come a day earlier. And then we will have that, what we call an orientation meeting with them to set up their access plan at that time. So the earlier the better. Once we create that plan, we communicate it, in the student's case, to the faculty that they're going to have for that semester. And it comes in the form of an email that says the different sorts of things they may need. Those letters kind of have the lecture-based 3-exam course in mind. So sometimes we're getting calls immediately from faculty that all I do are projects, how do I accommodate her? And then we figure out a new plan for that particular class at that time. Students can come in the middle of a semester, or a person can acquire a disability at any point in their life. So we do see people throughout the semester, but the best time would be at the very beginning.
I noticed on the website that the most common reason that students come here is for extended test taking time, and you also mentioned that you have test taking services here. Is that common that disability support services would have as many test taking rooms as you do here?
We are fortunate that we actually have a fairly large test center. We call it our test accommodation center. We can seat about 54 students at one time for exams. But thinking about, we have almost 1,200 students registered and everybody has finals. It's a little challenging to get everybody in. We actually proctor almost 7,000 exams a year.
Wow.
Which is, the most heavily used classroom on campus probably doesn't proctor 7,000 exams a year, but we may even top 8,000 actually this year, just from the numbers for this week.
That is a mind-boggling number. How many people work in disability support services?
Let me count. There's myself, there's 3 accommodation coordinators who are the people that would actually meet with the students or employees to come up with those plans and facilitate them. We have 2 graduate assistants who are both in the school psychology program, helping a lot with students with learning disabilities. We have an assistive technology coordinator, and we have a coordinator of our academic coaching program as well. So those are the full-time staff, as well as 2 administrative support staff. And then we have 6 or 7 folks that help us with the test proctoring on a regular basis.
What is one thing that you would want students to know about your office?
Take away.
I think I'm going to do 1.5 things, because I think there's a couple of things. The first thing is, a lot of times when people think about people with disabilities, they automatically go to someone with a mobility impairment, visual impairment, maybe dyslexia, but they don't think about chronic health impairments. Things like migraine headaches, things like multiple sclerosis that could be episodic, not really predictable in nature, but still can really impact a student. Maybe some of the psychological disabilities, depression, may not think, wow, there's an office there that can help interface between me and my teacher with things like attendance requirements or note-taking issues if you're having medication side effects. So kind of the broader umbrella piece, I really want to make sure students understand that we are here for a lot more people than I think folks think. The other piece that I think would be a good takeaway from our department is that we see ourselves as a resource for the entire campus too, not just for students. I said when I interviewed for my job here, they asked me what my greatest goal would be for the job, and it would be to work myself out of a job, honestly, so that we educate everyone enough to know how to accommodate people, how to design courses in a way that are accessible, fully accessible, designing buildings that are fully accessible, all of that. And if I didn't have a job, that would be great. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, but we're working on it.
It is a beautiful thing to work toward.
It is working towards that.
It really is.
Yeah.
Today we learned all about the resources that Disability Support Services provides. Thanks for joining us on this episode of Bright Lights.